our first step would be to create our hit list, meaning the list of companies that we want to contact. Okay, and the first step is let's create a really big list. Let's have a broad list of a lot of companies in our niche, and then we'll try to narrow down which ones we want to start by focusing on them first. Okay, so here are the steps of how to come up with the list. First of all, if you have some referrals, if you have already clients in that niche and you ask them, hey, is there anyone else in your industry that we should be talking to? That'll be amazing, because an introduction to a client is going to make it not a cold reach, but actually a warm lead, and that'll make selling to them much easier. So if you can have referrals, that's amazing, but probably you're not going to get that many, or at least not 20, which is the number that we want to use as a starting point. And so the next phase is to go on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a really great place to search for companies. You can go in and specifically search for a company or an industry. So you'll probably want to write down your niche and maybe even location, just to help. Depending on which niche you are, you might want to put something like real estate New York or something like that. Otherwise, if it's something global like startups or like online education or something like that, you can just write that and you'll get a huge list of companies. Now, another place which might do a really easy job for you is that most industries and most niches has industry directories. So if you go on Google and you write startup directory, for example, you get a lot of websites. That's specifically, I'm familiar with that. So it might be websites like AngelList or Crunchbase or something like that. But every industry has their own directories, which is basically just list of all the companies sorted by company size and location and stuff like that. So search for your niche's industry directory online and you'll just get a bunch of lists. Sometimes you also have their contact information there, which is pretty helpful. The other thing is you already know some companies in your niche, right? You did this as part of your niche research in week 1. So what I sometimes do is I actually just Google the company name competitors, and then I will get a list of the top competitors or similar companies to that specific company that I might want to work with, and that should give us a list. Now at this point, after doing these steps, I assume that you can and maybe should have a list of maybe 100 even possible companies, and 100 should be a good number to get started with. Now when you have that, we'll go down and narrow that list down to 20. And the reason is you can't realistically do the work properly and do the research that we need to do right now for more than 20. Even 20 actually will require a lot of time and investment on your end. So remember, right now we want to focus on the quality of the research that we're going to do for these companies. So once you have a big list, make a choice. If you think that you have better chances with specific ones, sometimes you might have easier time if they're located near you, or if maybe you know somebody that works there, that might make it easier. But this way or another, narrow down your list to 20 so that we can move forward with them to the next step.